watchers, runners, and gods of the time stream. Look to your left and say hey to Braca, I guess. Look to your right and celebrate because Torvald's here. Swallow your rage, conjure a chair, grab a table, and join us to talk about all things the dungeon run. Today we're going to be talking about the big, most anticipated battle between Uggo and Braca and events that took place in Thorn. But first, I actually want to take a second to give a special shout out to the Raven Queen, because the Tuesday this is going out, it's actually her birthday. I wanted to take a second to let you know how much I appreciate you and how thankful I am that I've gotten to know you. In fact, it was almost a year now when we first started talking, and in your words, when I brought you into the watch party and found you, that you really got more into the show and dived into the community. And I find that, that makes me happy, because not only have I gotten the chance to get to know you and be part of your wonderful presence, the community has too. Because you have your passion is so refreshing, and it's just, you're a lovely person to have around. I'm actually refilming this, by the way, for the second time, because I wanted Cactus Renee to make an appearance. It doesn't matter how many thorns or how many flaws you have. I truly, truly think that you are a wonderful person, and I am beyond grateful that I've gotten to know you. So happy birthday! I hope it was magical. I hope it is magical. You're magical. And now, also, because I did a terrible job at actually introing this watch party, please, back to our regular scheduled program, where we are talking about episode 87, Into the Underfury. Back to the party. I'm really excited about this watch party, specifically this Amulet Council, because I always say it, I try to bring in very diverse opinions and perspectives, and I feel this Amulet Council is going to be hot. We have very mixed opinions and reviews, and I'm excited. So let's just dive right into it. Joining us on today's Amulet Council, first and foremost, he is the Watch Party editor. He is the god of gifts. He is a very talented, wonderful person, and I'm honored to call him my friend. Everybody welcome the one, the only, GorbinPlade.
You hear that, kids? I'm beloved.
He is. Also joining us on the watch party today for the first time, he tries so hard to be a grump, but honestly, he is such a joy. He is so kind and also very thoughtful. He's a strong member of Team Force of Evil. Everybody welcome, for the first time on the watch party, Witchspace.
Good evening.
Hello, hello.
I haven't even got any cute kids to offset the grouchiness.
You're not that grouchy. You can try all you want, my friend. You are not that grouchy. You're amazing. And last but not least, this is my fellow news anchor for the News of Ein. She is so talented herself, and I'm hoping you guys get to see more of her talents. Also a dear friend of mine, and she's just so amazing. Unfortunately, she is Team Force of Good, but we are Team Dungeon Run at the end of the day. Everybody welcome AnthropomorphicMupper, aka Shannon.
Good job.
Are you proud of me?
Yeah, I am.
Enunciate.
I'm so proud of myself. No one understands that struggle but you, Shay. But it is amazing. Thank you guys all for joining me. I thought we would start like our traditional watch parties are, where we kind of give our general thoughts, give a rating if you feel comfortable, but no pressure, and then we'll dive into some of the details. So I'll go first, as per usual. I enjoyed this episode. I think there were some strong moments and some not so strong moments of it, but I really appreciated the style in the one-on-one with Uggo and Braca. I thought that the build-up for it, specifically heading to Thorn, was well done. There were some low moments that I thought we definitely know we're going to dive into. But I really thought so far that the Thorn trilogy, it's more in a pleasurable episode rank for me. I'm gonna give this episode a 7.5 out of 10 malls. I did enjoy it. It was really good, and from Old Splotch, let's just say that this is on an uphill battle for me. I really do think that things are getting better, so it's awesome. Shannon, why don't you go next?
Well, okay, so as a player, I get that it's really hard to come up with some of this stuff just like off the cuff. But I think that I was disappointed in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bullet point opening thoughts of why, and we'll dive into it. But
I was really disappointed in the second half.
Ooh, okay.
I thought it was a fantastic build-up. I really enjoyed it, and there were some moments that I was really excited about, and then just kind of got deflated.
So for you, strong first half, weak second half.
Yeah.
Ooh. Bouncing back to the other end of the spectrum, Kurt, you're next.
You just got Corbin's attention there by saying that it was a weak second half. Because Corbin, you were kind of bouncing off of the walls during that second half. Let everyone sit up, let everyone see your face.
Yeah, Corbin, what did you think?
He loved that duel, didn't you?
It was one of the best episodes.
Yeah, I wrote it down, Corbin. I wrote it down. As soon as the episode got over, he goes, "One of the most epic battles of them all," is what he said. So he loved it. So I mean, not because he loved it. I actually watched it on a different day, so I had to rewatch it with them because it was a different day. I liked it too. I thought that I liked the battle and how they didn't mess around. It was very much, we can get into it later as to why I loved it so much, that it wasn't a messing around, but it was just very much, let's go, we're doing it. It was very Uggo-ish of like, let's go in there and fight. And so I liked that. And yeah, I thought there weren't many things for me to kind of go, oh, that was a bummer. There was one specific thing that was a bummer, but everything else was good. So yeah, I give it a good like 8.5 kind of
out of 10
deal. And Corbin's a 10 out of 10. What did you think, Greta? Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what'd you think about it?
I didn't know.
She doesn't know, so she's undecided.
So cute. Greta's the middle. It is a direct middle.
Must be. So that was our thoughts.
As far as a rating goes, I think that I would still give it a 7. But
that's high.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm Team Force of Good, guys.
So on the fluffy Team Force of Good scale, she gives it a 7, because by your comments, that is not a 7 on my scale.
I was just so disappointed.
Team Force of Good scaling just starts at 7 and goes to 11.
Yeah.
That's how they rate things.
It is. It's the Ivy League. It's the Ivy League kind of grade inflation thing, I guess.
Shannon, I love you. I love that. It's just the most disappointing episode of all time. 7 out of 10, everybody. I love it. And last but not least, Witchspace. Let's go on the back of the other end of the roller coaster. What were your opening thoughts?
Oh boy, it wasn't terrible, which is always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
However, I adored
DVD box. Will say wasn't terrible.
Mm-hmm. I adored the week before. The week before was absolutely brilliant. And one of the things that made it for me is after all the unmitigated mess of Ozvatch, we actually finally came to the crowd sitting down, being sensible, planning things out, remembering that these are grimdark opponents who have the upper hand, and that we shouldn't just walk headfirst in. And then this week happened, And we walked headfirst in.
Um,
It was Hobbit walking party into the lion's den with absolutely no apparent fear that they weren't all going to come out successful. And I'm like, we've had this huge build-up of Braca being one of the bad guys. He's working with the Cabal. He's backed with Urti. And we're going to walk in through the front door and march up to him and say, I challenge you to sing. And he's not going to do anything sneaky. There's not going to be any other members of the Cabal there. And he's going to honor this orc tradition. You know, maybe cutting the tree down should have been maybe this guy doesn't follow these orc traditions after all. But no, we kept on going regardless. Straight on in. Now, the duel was very, very well done. I loved the addition of the rules. It came out really tight in the end. You know, contrary to popular belief, we do not want to murder every member of the party.
yes.
That's not the thing. What we don't like is them being seated on a layer of marshmallow and they can do no wrong. And everything up until the fight was a letdown, unfortunately for me. You know, we'd had all the build-up, all the drama, and it was great. And they kind of ignored it. You know, getting him to come out of his safe zone, really smart move. But why did we walk in? I don't know. I mean, the cast, once they made that decision and went with it, they did very, very well. The fight went very, very well. But again, Braca, the big bad guy, did he pull any sneaky warlock tricks? Nope.
So it sounds
And this
like
is the big bad.
you're more disappointed in our team not showing up, essentially, right? Like the villains not coming through to some extent.
Yes, he was a big bad guy who followed the rules.
Yeah,
And
I would have bet that he was.
that's the
gonna
only
do
real
something.
thing.
Got
Yeah,
it.
and I was
So
surprised that every orc followed the rules.
Really?
I don't know. This is the bit I couldn't understand. But
So that's where you were very disconnected.
yeah, and why stick to a plan? Come up with a plan. Stick to a plan. Do the sensible thing. Don't walk straight into. You don't know what. They had a chance when the tree was torn down. Let's turn around and rethink about this, maybe, because he's not the guy we used to know. But I don't know.
So
That's just me.
We've transitioned, I guess, from opening thoughts to.
Oh, he dived in.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay, because I just love how I love how we both use the same
For completely opposite versions.
different conclusions.
So,
I love that I have on my notes. I have headline for this was the first half was the party actually listened to Uggo. Finally, Uggo forges the plan. They were like, "Hey, Uggo, this is your deal. What's your plan?" And he came up with a very Uggo plan, which was, well, let's try to lure him out. Okay, but if that doesn't work, we're gonna quote march straight in, and it could not have been easy for the rest of the party to go, okay, as evidenced by
the entire
80 episodes, 83 episodes, or 86 episodes before, of evidence, but really, literally, I mean, Old Spotch, where they tried to keep their options open so much that they did nothing, basically, right? And in this case, it was, no, this is option A. Option A. Like this, we are marching straight in. And that's a very Uggo thing. And they were okay with that. And I liked that. They were finally like backing without reservation a plan. So, yeah. I mean, they were a little mealy-mouthed when they were asked if they're ready to die for this cause. James especially was like, yeah. But, I mean, so there was reservation, but they still were like, nope, we're with you, Uggo, we're right behind you. And I loved that. I didn't
hate the idea that they were going to just barge in. I liked that they had a plan, yes, but I also really appreciated them listening to Uggo, because this was his place, and that was the agreement that they were going to listen to him, and they did. My complaint starts where it just stops being believable for the characters that they were given these amazing opportunities to really have the stakes really high, and they played it safe, and I didn't like it.
You're about to segue. I hear you. And girl, pause, because I want you to, and that is a whole conversation.
It is.
Girl, pause that amazing thought you're about to say. I do want to say on that touch subject, I really thought I was going to overall side more with Kurt, but Witchspace and I, for full disclosure, we did talk a little bit before the council, and I'm not going to lie, I actually see both sides. I loved how it was Uggo's idea, like you said, Kurt, to just barge in. I loved that. That is so Uggo. Everything Ron/Uggo did, I believed. I thought it was authentic. I thought it was so him, right or wrong, great idea or not, it was Uggo. He was true to himself. He was in these emotions. This is his time to shine. I think he's doing great. Really do. But after talking to Witchspace, and after even the way he articulated it right here on camera, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people think it. The party is not afraid to die. The party is not scared. That's not what I get from them. They just seem like they're always overconfident, and they're not acknowledging the danger. And I agree to some extent, for me, definitely an old Squatch, it disconnects it. It really does disconnect me from, well, if they don't care about marching in there and dying, then why should I? I do kind of get that sense a little bit, especially after Old Squatch. It was almost as if, they're going to be overconfident, and hey, look, it works out great. Kind of. I see that perspective. Oof, that was a lot, but
so am I the sole representative of Team Beeline it into Thorn here?
No, okay. I'm
because I will defend my point of view on it. If
No. I was fine with it. Okay. I think from the environment perspective, if that was their choice, I don't want them to make the perfect decisions all the time. That's not good storytelling. Mm-hmm. I was fine with the organic choice of them to barge in. If that's how Uggo wanted to play it, we're going in.
That was definitely. To me, that right there is exactly why there should have been. Hey, we talked about Old Swatch of they didn't really listen to Civ a whole lot.
Yes.
And right. Look what happened. Bad things happen. Look, they listened to the one. He's making fun of me. They listened to the guy who had the most information, Uggo, and look what happened.
It went great.
Now, I definitely can see how this is. I definitely see the point. I thought you were going to go to a different place of, hey, didn't we learn from Old Swatch that you can't just stroll in and solve a city's problems? And what did they do with Thorn? They've strolled in and solved the city's problems by Uggo. Mm-hmm. Now I can see that. However, totally different scenarios, because in Thorn is a culture of might makes right, and the strongest king, chief, whatever, is now the ruler. So that is completely. We talk about how the wonderful Cam the Fog Pal saying you can't just change the socioeconomic political situation of a town like that, especially one that's built. Literally in the geography of the town is why things are this way. Yeah. Well, in Thorn, that's how it is structured. You actually can, because you replace the top, and then it's in a hierarchical society. You do, so they're different.
Fair enough.
I can respect the view of, well, that's too pat for me.
I'm just sad though compared to last week.
Yes,
because last week they were so smart, and they were much more cautious. They understood the threat, and they were going to take it carefully.
I don't think Jeff wanted it that way. Of like, well, they can kind of weasel the way out of. I mean, my favorite 3 words of the entire episode was when I don't know if it was Fahima or James or Civ were kind of like thinking of like, how can we game this fight here? And Jeff's response, count the orcs.
Love that. I did love that.
Saying,
it was really well done.
Like, don't be stupid and mess with this, right? I love that because, and to me, that's evidence of, no, he wanted this mano a mano, no cheating thing. And that, so that kind of, to me, that makes the march right in and do it the right choice.
Okay. So my closing thoughts about this specific topic, because I think we're all making amazing points. Surely, I'm like, Witchspace, but I will say this. I think where Witchspace and I are in the same headspace is this situation. Kurt, you're right, and I attest to it. You're right. Different situation, but I do overall, some situation or not, it would be nice to see them change up their strategy, because if you and I made a video together, we've done plenty of, they have the same strategy every single, whether it's great, whether it's crappy, we've seen both sides, but they don't change their strategy. And it would be really nice for them not to just have an amazing disguise and barge in the front door. It would be nice to see them switch it up. I think that's where we are in the same headspace. Yeah. I will attest, I will bow. I think that Thorn went beautifully. I liked the episode. I'm on the side where I think this episode was great. So segueing, I love this council. Segueing to let's talk about Rage. Let's talk about that segment. And Shannon, hit it, girl.
All right. Well,
get into it, girl.
I'm gonna get into it.
I love this. I love this so much.
I am heavily medicated. So I know, like, I've been on different medications or whatever, and like some of them work and some of them don't really work. And one of them made me real angry. And I'm talking about like ragey, angry. So, like I was saying, rage isn't just like this, really inconvenient, boy, I wish I could find something nice to say about you sort of feeling. Like, you're going to say something awful. You're going to do something that you regret. I was so frustrated.
You feel enraged by it?
Especially if you're inexperienced at handling rage.
Yeah, someone better stuff you in a bag of holding or you're going to go pop.
Yeah.
There is no bottling it up.
She had weapons in each hand. She didn't stab him? Come on now. Listen, I'm Team Force Good, and I love Lily, and I love Civ, and I love everybody, and I love. But I didn't believe that.
And
I didn't believe the whole rage bit.
Hold on. Shannon, I know you and I fleshed this conversation out, but for the viewers who don't know all your thoughts, I want you to elaborate on what you mean by that. Like, I want you to elaborate on your thoughts. Like, you didn't believe what specifically?
Okay. When she charged at Braca, I was actually like cheering at the TV. I was so excited because here was what should actually happen if she was enraged, and she was pushed to that edge, and she was. Jeff, like, he went into detail with it to help her understand, like, not help her understand. That's mean. I don't mean it that way. I'm so sorry. Just so that, like
all on
really painting the picture of, what you're feeling and how it's, like, how big it is. And then, she charges. Fantastic. And then she gets manhandled, thrown at her man, and told Civ to take care of your woman. And her next bit is, you don't own me. Come on. Like, that would be even angrier after that.
Okay, Witchspace, take it away. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I wanted her to
No,
finish.
no, part of this is it's one of those areas where I hate the fact it crops up every now and again, but I hate the fact that we're doing this under the rules of D&D, because you're walking into the heart of all rage in Orkdom.
Mm-hmm.
The closer you get to that center, the rage gets stronger and stronger and more intense.
Mm-hmm.
Civ may, from his past experience, have had some dealings with it. May have had similar feelings. But Lily, Fahima, James, and the fact that those three got a complete buy on one skill check blew my mind, number one. And then, exactly as Shannon said, Lily was fully going for it. And then suddenly, that's going to calm her down. If I had spoken to any woman I've ever known like that, I wouldn't have a head anymore.
You wouldn't.
Yeah. Let me just. This was my one criticism and not just aim up at not just Lily, because to me, I think it was a missed opportunity for the entire group. Yeah. Everyone was supposed to be having this simmering rage. I mean, the whole point of the Hamlet scene was not fan service of Hamlet, in my opinion, but rather to show the rage is affecting everything, even the animals around. So it should definitely be affecting this crew. And I thought it was a massively missed opportunity for them to be RPing. I mean, there should have been, on the way to Thorn, a huge argument of how terrible Old Swatch went. A huge argument. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there should have been. It should have been
that would have been perfect.
It could have been, and who knows? I mean, the Underfury, the wave of rage that they're about to go into, right? Maybe they're going to have this out of body rage experience where they literally, the future of the party, they might fracture as a party because they're so mad at each other, right? Who knows? But to me, I thought that was a missed opportunity on the way there for them not to be arguing about petty things, about stupid things, not funny things. Don't undermine it by bringing up things in a kind of a funny way, but actually honoring the mood that, I mean, Jeff definitely, he was constantly telling not just Lily, but the entire crew what's going on. He was definitely reminding them many times, y'all should be raging a little bit right now. And y'all should be a little testy, a little antsy, and yeah, so that wasn't there. That was my only criticism. But to me, it was more than just a Lily thing, because I think she did actually honor it at least a little bit. Especially with the charge. I mean, aim up and I'm with you. I was like, yes, she's gonna. This is why you wanted to meet out at the tree and not in the Underfury. But
I was expecting James to have to use suggestion on her, or Civ to backhand her with a knife and knock her out, or something.
I'm not gonna lie. Wonderful points from all three of you. That never even crossed my mind, which usually those kinds of things do, in terms of like, because Witchspace, you especially, no, I'm all for like, that should have been a disadvantage. Oh, this should have been. I'm all for that. I'm a stickler for those types of things because I agree. I'm really big on the environment setting the tone. So I 100% agree with all three of you. They should maybe have at least rolled twice, or the rage was set up to be a big thing, and then they kind of just sidestepped it.
Yeah.
But focusing on Lily, who in theory, even with the way it was set up, got the rage, so to speak. In this storytelling, the rest can handle their rage fantastic. Unfortunately, that's the situation. So even if we just focus on Lily, I agree. I think Lily charging was my second favorite part of this entire episode. It was wonderful. It was unexpected, which made sense because we've never seen her enraged. Wonderful. Literally my second favorite part of this entire episode. She was in it to win it, and she leaned into the scene, and it was wonderful. I do think, however, it was like a strong start, and then she just bailed out. And I'm talking about at the end of the episode where one, I know I'm a critic. I have literally, Kurt can attest, I have like what I mark points on and off for, and it's like very well thought out on my end. It really is. And one of them is consistency. So I thought it was funny how, and I'm getting better, but I still come from a non D&D mindset. I'm a very story based. This is how it goes. What I see and what you tell me is what I believe. They said, for those who don't understand how rage in D&D works, they outwardly said, yeah, when you're enraged, you can't cast spell. Lily is still raging. They said that out loud. I'm like, okay. She's casting spells literally less than 2 minutes later. And this, to you, Shannon, to your point, this is where I thought she bailed out. They made it a point she was still enraged. Why is she being able to think logically? I get it. Lily comes from a very funny, comedic perspective. I'm a true believer that comedic comedy has its time and its place. And kind of to honoring that rage, her saying, even though it was funny, her saying, I usually do a really good job at thinking positive, but now I'm just not doing that. I agree with you, Shannon. That's not how rage works. You can't just sit there and be like, I'm just slightly mad, and now I'm just pessimistic. And it's like, you started so strong. What happened? Even if you discount her fighting back, like her only hitting Civ was her just fighting back the rage. She's hitting him, and let's say Lily is really good at trying to control her anger, but she's still failing. She's still hitting him. She checked in with Jeff and she said, oh, Jeff, does this work? Am I still enraged? And he said, yes, you are. So then she was like, okay, I hit him. I can look past that. I can see that as, let's pretend Lily is 100% amazing at controlling her rage, and that's her giving her effort. To me, at the end, that's where I thought was weak, when she was just standing there like, I really wish I could think positive right now. That's where I was like, okay, you're not even in the scene anymore. Now you're no longer even trying to be enraged, when it was 2 seconds ago they said you were still enraged. There was no difference between when Torvald healed her and 3 minutes before that. So I did think she started.
I did enjoy the role reversal that happened with Civ and Lily, in that Civ was kind of trying to cheer Lily up, or have her be the. I mean, I enjoyed that kind of role reversal of her.
It was awesome.
Of her, but yeah. Again, that just only hinted at the opportunity that was kind of missed, I think, in not honoring that as much.
Yeah. And when she actually was taken out of rage and she broke down, and like, I felt that. That was really, really well done. I almost cried with her, but there wasn't any reason for it.
Yeah, I agree. I actually really enjoyed the role reversal. I enjoyed Civ trying to be the Lily. That was wonderful. And I second that it could have, even though I was giving that moment a little, grace, I agree with all of you. The rage in general within the party, even if it was a side thing of them doing their best to try to stay out of the fight. And I was going to say that was one of the things that I agree it should have been more in full force, but I did enjoy just the constant, ooh, is anyone going to interfere? James and Fahima stepped forward a little bit,
I saw Jeff was moving some of the orcs closer to him, and I was like, what are you doing there, Jeff?
Yeah, like the intent, like I know some people, and this is why the community is amazing with their diverse opinions. Some people didn't care for the one-on-one. I loved it. I loved how they honored and gave Uggo his moment. I don't care. Loved it. Yeah. For me, I will stand on that hill. I loved the anticipation of this setup. Like you said, Kurt, so wonderful. Count the orcs. Like I love how it was set up to be that dynamic. I love how, are the orcs going to interfere? Are the party going to interfere? Who's going to die? Who is Uggo going to get so low to where the party just charges? Civ, as always, does a great job at like, I'm counting the orcs. I'm planning plan B. I'm doing that. It was so intense building. I enjoyed that part. I really did. I agree. I think my lowest part was kind of how Lily kind of just died out of the rage. That very, very end of that episode, which that's where I thought it kind of weakened. I agree. I thought that Jeff did a kind of backtracking a little bit. Jeff did a great job at not only what is it you said, Kurt, with the Hamlet? What's the word? Bringing Hamlet back in. I can't think of the word right now.
Oh yeah, as a fan service.
Fan service. I loved it. I thought it was such a cute homage to Hamlet. How he's there, how she's there, I don't know. Who cares? I thought it was a fun way to really just bring in a good way to kind of have that double meaning. Oh, it's your friend Hamlet. Look how cute he is. Remember how we all loved Hamlet? Oh wait, no, she's evil. Like I loved that kind of. I loved it.
It was a good device to show to make have the subtext text of this. Rage is affecting even adorable Hamlet.
Cute, exactly. It wasn't just a random animal. This creature meant something to them, and that's why it was having that effect. I loved all of that. So I agree. It was, to me, the whole ending of the episode, starting from Lily kind of not being in rage. I think all of the orcs, which Kurt, you kind of cleared up my mind a little bit better. But originally, my first thought was, oh, what a superhero ending. All the orcs just agreed. Everybody's fine. All right. Like it was that I did feel a little too nicely wrapped up in a package for me in that moment for me. None of the orcs even questioned them. They're just like, all right, they didn't. And the reason I say that is because Uggo to himself and to the party did make a deal about they might not like the fact I don't kill him or that I don't want to kill him. And I too kind of felt they just kind of brushed that off. I mean, no orc was like, finish the job, or I wanted some type of.
They kind of did. Jeff did kind of say that a few of them were like kill kind of thing. Which okay, but and Jess, we talked about this offline. I don't. Strongest doesn't mean you must kill person. Right, he already killed his father, and then there was this dispute about who did, and it sounded like there was a controversy that's why maybe some didn't think Baraka was legitimate. Well, this kind of settled Baraka wasn't legitimate. Uggo was,
and I agree with you. After I talked to you, I kind of dismissed that notion, but that was my first thought. It was just like, oh, what a nice little.
It certainly is kind of pat. It is very it is kind of, and everything worked out.
Kind of to Shannon's point of, here's this big tense thing, and your Witchspace, here's the big moment, and then for the episode to end so neatly, there's just something off about that. And after talking to you, I agree. Like I was like, oh, okay, I see how it did play out this way. But my first initial thought was, oh yeah, how perfect was that? And then just because I know it's not as controversial as the rest of the episode, but how do we not just talk about Torvald or Torvald? Or he's just. I was so happy. I love this man. I've been dying to see this man since episode 15.
She's been wanting to see him dead or alive, just to see him.
I just want him, and I will say it wasn't just me. Thankfully, a lot of people got a little testy when the nice and neat package happened, and then they still spent the next 3 minutes ignoring him. It still bothered me. Like I was like, oh my god. When Lily
man some water.
Yes, when Lily put the healing spirit on Uggo, which I get, but everyone they literally, if it was like a movie, in this scene, the poor prisoner's in the back shot, in his cage still. I was just like, oh my god, get him some water, give him a hug. What are you doing? My emotions were very flared. Yeah. But he lived, guys. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Torvald is this week's Achirai. He's the thing you forget about until someone reminds you, oh, he's there in the background, and maybe we should have been thinking about him.
Oh, that would be perfect. Perfection. If they go out.
It is. It's one of these. It's. I hate to be mean, but it is. It's that one of those. The birds, the Vado, all that stuff. They knew it was there. It just was less important to them than a bone that they had no idea about. Whereas Torvald was part of the reason they were going there, to rescue Torvald.
Ooh, on that
kind
note,
of forgotten about.
Just to pause there, I'm going to unpause you too, but just to piggyback on that, in the early episode, this is our agenda, guys. And then I think it was James was like, how about adding Save Torvald to that list? I was like, thank you.
Right.
So mad about that. So mad.
That's another one of those things between last week and this week. Last week, Torvald, the star. This week, we got to get rid of Brooker.
Torvald, advertised as a very, very powerful mage, I believe still has the stupid neck thing on. I didn't hear them I didn't hear them say, "Oh, and then take the neck thing off." I mean, my God, they're like trying to get more healing potion, more healing potion. Just take the darn neck thing off, and then he can heal everybody. Yeah. There's this Torvald the Unappreciated. Torvald the Unappreciated is still alive and well. They're not using him as an asset as much as they could.
Can we all just take one cheers to Torvald the Unappreciated? As the watchers, we see you, we hear you, and maybe kind of unlike the party, we love you, okay? Shannon, I didn't actually ask your thoughts on it. What are your thoughts? We're all very vocal, and I love it. So
I'm really sorry. I'm agreeing with everyone. I don't have anything to say against anything that has been said. I still love that when Torvald comes on the scene, Jeff is so good about making him timid, and I love it so much because no one it doesn't really ever get acknowledged that he's a coward, and I think that it's adorable.
So the one thing I loved the way that though this week, I don't know whether it was deliberate or not, but especially when he started talking about the amulet, he seemed to have a lot more of an air of authority about him.
Oh yeah, I caught
some of that timidness went away, and I hope we get the opportunity for him to go back and chat with Human Mama. Because I really want to be a fly on the wall when those two meet and start discussing the world. Because I'm terrible. I'm sitting here wanting to know more about the Cabal, wanting to know more about the Vase, wanting to know about, Phase, we're in the US, and all the rest of this stuff.
Phase.
And I wish the party did. That's the one thing that always scares me is they seem to have, we're if you remember The Lord of the Rings, and the two little hobbits.
I love you, Witchspace.
Merry and Pippin. All right? Gandalf is there. And let's just say, Torvald is Gandalf. Yeah, they're walking along. And the party at times are just Merry and Pippining it along, dropping things down wells and seeing what happens. And, getting disapproving looks from all the people that actually, the main players. It's just
okay.
It is really entertaining. Do not get me wrong. I would not miss this show for the world. I would not want the party to be any other way. That is how they are.
Yeah.
But maybe it's age. But I turn around and go, oh God, no, don't do that. No.
Okay, so I want to back up because you threw a lot of gold in that little speech of yours. I love you. I really do. So much. So, first of all, I would argue, Torvald, I'm serious. I don't know. People don't know this because hasn't been around, but he is one of my top 5 favorite characters of this entire campaign. I really love him. He's a high power mage, the whole thing. Shannon, to your point, I think, and a little bit of what Witchspace said, I think that it's like the Wizard of Oz, since we're throwing all the movie references in there. I don't think he's as timid as he comes across. I truly believe with all of my heart, he has shown more courage than any of the party of Bingle has. The fact that he put himself first, that he said, I'm dying, I'm suffering, I'm in pain. Do what you have to do. Don't come after me.
True.
Takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of strength. And there is nothing timid about that man. Absolutely nothing. And I love him, and I have a lot of emotions.
It almost sounds like you had a eulogy prepared for him, honoring him so much. Can I time that?
No idea what you're talking about. So what he's talking about is I was so prepared one way or the other, and I wrote a dang eulogy, and I was ready. We were going to do a tribute video. He was not going to go out unnoticed and unscathed. He's alive, so it doesn't matter. But
keep that eulogy handy. Who knows?
I will. Well, I'm ready. I'm ready now, so it's good. But to your second point, Witchspace, and I have to shout out Renee / the Raven Queen. You are not alone in thinking that. Renee was the only reason she said that one of the biggest things she was upset about not being on this watch party was she wanted to give that point exactly. And I agree. Basically, We are seeing druids for the first time in Ein. They literally do science and research, and everything is, they have so much knowledge to offer them. And okay, cool, let's go to Thorn. And this is a recurring theme with them. They have no intention of finding out any actual information.
It's like lore or like snore, and then they leave.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're all passionate. I need to watch my words now.
Calm down. Count to 10.
Take a deep breath. But he must started sounding interested when she said, "Yeah, cut my hair, take a piece, tell me what you find out, and then okay, we're leaving." Now, to be fair, they don't know what's going to go on in Thorn. They don't know what their plans are. I think it would be naive to assume they can just walk right back. So in theory, when they left, they were done. She didn't check up on it. She didn't know that James was going to add her to the fear book. She didn't know that. So how was she going to follow up on any of that? She didn't ask. I mean, they just don't seem to care about any of the lore. And I agree, Kurt, that was a wonderful phrase. Why? Why do the fans care about more what's going on in this world than they do? Shannon, your thoughts on that?
Actually, I was unfortunately having a completely different thought. I wanted to ask you guys if anyone else wondered if the tree was really cut down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Well,
what's it been used for? Was it an illusion?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was it done for effect to put Uggo off? To make him feel weaker? To make him feel lessened? Or to show, look, I don't follow traditions, so you're going to come in here and I'm going to, he may have been scared of Uggo. Literally scared of Uggo, knowing that his brother is legitimately stronger.
Well, I don't think there's any question he was scared of Uggo. That's why he wanted every advantage he could. So yeah, he obviously between the two of them, they both know the truth of what happened to their father, right? Uggo had talked from the very beginning. I mean, I was rewatching episodes from way back when, and Uggo even back then was talking about talking to his brother and maybe trying to working things out. And this is like episode 4 when he was talking about that stuff. So is he going to be able to turn him back to the light side? Who knows? Probably not. What's going to happen with that? All opportunities for lore, by the way.
What do you think's happened to the tree, Shannon?
I think it's still there.
Oh, really? It's cut. It's cut down.
So Shannon,
yeah, but they didn't go look. It could have just be invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So you both are on. This is a trick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was how Raka got him to go into Thorn.
Yeah, it was either a stunt to get Uggo to either come in or run away, thinking that Braca wouldn't follow the age-old rules and would come for him with the whole army if he decided to walk inside. Or conversely, we're going to find
all the fan theories. I love it.
So all of that, I love it. Witchspace, it's totally going into pineapple time. I'm sorry, I'm with you. I'm wrapped. I'm sold.
I'm like, ooh, tell us more. But is there any other? Because there was a lot of stuff. Is there any other overall arching things or points you guys wanted to make? Because if not, we're about to do closing statements. But any other things that we didn't talk about or rant about? Because we're a very passionate bunch. Was there anything else?
I have one thing. I hope it doesn't open up a can of worms. I loved the. I love everything about Human Mama and every Uggo Human Mama interaction, but this one specifically, I thought Jeff was so fantastic in how he emoted. There was the way he spoke, the way he had Human Mama speak was very you could tell it was a very stoic delivery, but you could tell the underlying emotion that was there. Mm-hmm. She was talking about what Uggo meant to her, but she was saying it in you brought so much so much value to our research. And it's like, that is not what she meant, right? She meant, it was so beautiful how he said that. And so that just had me, that had me in my feels. And then how she addresses Uggo in a totally non-judgmental way of expecting him to kind of rise to the level of being, a grown man type of thing. And they had the Uggo scene with Human Mama, and then literally the next scene was the team talking to Uggo, and I could tell they were trying to manage him a little bit, and it was the contrast of seeing Human Mama asking Uggo to rise to a level versus the party talking to Uggo, but by going down a level to him sometimes. I love that contrast because it does speak to how Uggo should be treated in a kind of a growth mindset versus more of a protective mindset. It was just interesting. So I love that scene.
I said it in the last watch party, but I agree so hard on everything you just said. Jeff freaking Kanata, I will say it again, his ability to say one thing but express another was beautiful, and he did it flawlessly. 10 out of 10 on the Force of Evil scale, no problem. It was wonderful. Like, you can't deny that right there. That is talent, that is magic, that was emotion, that was everything you want to watch. I felt very similar about it. And I also loved how, again, that's also why I feel like they were saying goodbye. That was Uggo's goodbye.
They were very goodbye. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, it didn't.
Goodbye.
Mhm.
Yes, they don't seem like they're coming back. Hence our lore conversation. But it was a wonderful goodbye. It was so beautiful. And then even when James followed up to talk to her about joining the Fear Book, and the whole house, she was like, anyone looking? Okay. And then, she tried to do like, this is so unethical, but where do I sign? Like, she just loves that orc so much.
Yeah. I just love, and the way she was so accepting of him, like, he made the decision, I'm going, and she didn't object. All she said was, so you've decided to do this, and not not trying to manage him by saying don't do this or whatever, but just saying you're a grown man, you're a grown orc, you've made a decision, just protect yourself. I love you. Basically, was the subtext of that entire conversation, and it brought me to. It's bringing me to tears a little bit right now. It was magic. It was magic. So yeah.
Shannon.
Team Force of Good gave it 11.
Wow.
Well, you said that the first half was the highlight, so I kind of want you to talk about.
Absolutely, that's why. Because of that relationship with Human Mama and seeing the juxtaposition of like how Uggo could be treated versus how he is treated, and he's treated like kind of a baby, and
He's infantilized a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I say it all the time in the No Cast Zone and to you guys privately, but it's true. I don't think they're not really good friends to each other. They care about each other, but they have such a long way to go as far as boundaries and respect.
Mm-hmm.
They have so much to go. Each and every one of them, even in their individual relationships, they have. Wow, so much to go. So I agree with that, Shannon. I really do.
I mean, it is one of the reasons why I really enjoyed the fact that they stuck to Uggo's plan of marching in, even though to Witchspace's and everyone else's point, that's stupid. But they did it. So that was another. I mean, that was them honoring at least him in that way. But yeah,
I had no objection to that
struggle with
either.
talking down to him a little bit.
Yeah, my biggest fear is that this is it with Human Mama.
Oh, please no.
And it will be
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
shame. It will be such a shame.
Come back to Human Mama. We want more.
I would love her to teach some more of the scientific stuff to Torvald.
Amen.
Torvald, I'm going to stop pineappling right now, but I would love more interaction there.
Pineapple just over you.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Shannon, I do want you to elaborate a little bit when you said you had no objections to that. You're talking about the barging in of.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no objections to that.
Okay, good. I just wanted to clarify with the
Yeah, sorry. And
No,
I
you're
was
good.
interrupting.
You wanted it for the record, for the court stenographer.
For the court,
Yeah.
Can you please write it down? No, I really, again, the episode overall was, I would base it as I liked it. I thought it was definitely in the win category. Well, there were weak points of the episodes, but nothing in this episode, and I guess we're segueing to final thoughts here. Nothing in the episode disappointed me overall. Like I said, the rage thing, we're all on the same page about that. It was a weaker part of the episode. It had so much potential to be stronger. Big fan of the battle. I thought it went just fine. I loved every second of it, minus the rage part. But the battle itself, the way it had different rules, the fact that they respected. At the end, I was happy they respected a one-on-one. I'm so glad. Word and warning still that Civ didn't get his time. I was happy Uggo got his. And I love that. I love how this was his moment and he got it. And Braca, this is a lot of cliffhangers, but from Human Mama to James's Nightmare, which we didn't talk a lot about, I love them. Keep going. It's not bothering me any. I absolutely love it. From the team's growth to the Hamlet double thing, I loved it. I really did. There were just some things could have been stronger. Some things could have not been so neat. I don't think life works that way. This isn't, Jeff does a great job at telling a full story. So some parts did feel still a little neat to me. Overall, again, 7.5 episode, and I'm super excited. Shannon, final thoughts.
I thought that this episode had so much potential, and I felt like the buildup was just phenomenal, and I was here for it. And I just feel a little let down. I sort of feel like how epic that would have been for Uggo to win that fight with Braca, but then to turn around and Civ's in death saving throws. The stakes were high, and they didn't deliver.
This is a Team Force Good member talking. I just think it's important to highlight that with our reputation. I do think it's important to highlight that. I'm with you. The higher the stakes, the better for me. Kurt, final thoughts.
My final thought is nothing to do with the episode. I just wanted to show kind of like JD Illustrates does the thing during the show. This is my daughter made this. She's illustrating it. This is me. This is her. This is Corbin, and this was us on the watch party. She just wanted to share that.
So. Greta, we love you. Great final thoughts. Witchspace. Final closing thoughts.
Well, Team Force of Evil, we can count from 1 to 10. For me, it probably comes in as...
Oh, yeah, you're going to give a rating.
It's probably a 6 for me. And most of that is let down, partly because last week was so strong. Yeah. Last week was the strongest we've had in a very, very long time. Yeah. So last week, on the 1 to 10 Force of Evil scale was a 20. Yeah. The Human Mama stuff was gorgeous. The decision to head straight in, I still don't understand it.
Fair enough.
But I'm expecting it from Merry and Pippin. The fight was brilliant. There's no two ways about it. The way that the rules were adjusted, it brought everyone in chat it came right down to the wire. It was beautifully done. But now I'm very intrigued as to what happens next, both with Human Mama, Torvald, and if they decide to go down, if they all go down, and what they find inside.
Yeah.
I will already tell you one of my favorite lines from tonight is Torvald is this week's Achire. That was wonderful. I loved it. Guys, seriously, I know you're going to be seeing this on the second part of Jared's two-shot, so we still have a week before the show does come back, but there's so much to look forward to. As Witchspace already said, what's in the Under Fury? Are they all going to do it? Pineapple time, pineapple time. Shannon's super excited to see what happens with the rage. Is there more tricks being played? I know Shannon's excited about that. And there's so much. What's going to go on with Braca? What lore? It's not a snore. What lore are we going to find? We're all excited. We're in this world. We just
Thorn
want
has
more.
been such a refreshing,
Yes.
breathing life into so much of the show. I'm loving it so much. I can't wait.
Amen. And we are all for it. I'm so excited to see more about maybe the pretenders. What are we going to learn? It's so exciting. Who knows? But stay tuned. Join us. Let us know what you guys thought. Can't wait to see you guys all in chat and on the next watch party. And of course, as always, guys, humankind. Be bold.
Be bold.
It's